So I want to kick things off today by talking about why so many districts are using our Tardy plugin. Simply put, it's the most efficient way to manage your overall Tardy process. The plugin is designed to automate all of those time-consuming manual attendance tasks that you're wrestling with every day, and let your staff get freed up to attend to all the other important responsibility that happens in the course of a day in any given school. How are we different from other tardy solutions? Well, we write real-time attendance directly to PowerSchool. There is no external sync that happens. We have real-time information going into the attendance records, so you can see that right away. We automatically append the clock in and the clock out fields, both on the meeting side and on the daily side, so you don't have to do that manual process. We can get you up and running in minutes. It's a very simple interface by design, easy to use, and also tech friendly. There's a dedicated attendance activity page. The other thing is that we are always adding features that you request that will simplify your day. Today I'm going to demonstrate the plugin, and I'm going to show you how the plugin works in two different schools. Each school has their preferred attendance recording method configured differently. So I'm going to start in Apple Grove High School. Apple Grove High School is configured to record meeting attendance. Primarily, that's their primary focus. And Washington Elementary, the second one I'll show you, is designed to record the students' daily attendance. So I'm going to show you both lanes here. All righty, let's dive into this. The plugin provides a page in PowerSchool that needs to be open when you're ready to record attendance. So I'm going to bring you there right now. Attendance, meeting attendance. You can favorite this page. I do, but I brought you the long way. And this link right here, the plugin inserts this link to bring you directly to the scan page. Again, this is the page that the plugin creates so you can record your attendance. It needs to be open for your attendance staff. The page is broken down into two distinct sections here. An upper section here and a lower section here. This blue-gray line is the divider, and the bottom half is going to display your attendance activity. Let's talk about the upper half of the page. You have a date and a timestamp. That's going to display based on where you are in the world. A default attendance code that's configurable. I'm going to show you how we configure this after I bring you through a demonstration. You can configure a default attendance code, but if you need to change that on the fly, there's a drop-down that allows you to do so. Hall pass option, again, configurable, allows you to toggle it on or off. Comment section, anything you need to write there will append to the student's attendance record. And then in this box right here, we're looking for an ID number. The plugin is expecting a student number or a student ID. It's configurable. You decide which one it is that is the identifier for your student. How do we get the ID number in here? Well, there's it's really 4 ways that you can get it in there. You can manually type the number in. That's one way to do it. I just typed on my keyboard, the keyboard that I'm using that's displaying this page. You could use a pin pad. Think cafeteria style, like some schools are using. USB device plugged into the computer where you're using our plugin, and the students can type their number in. You could use a barcode scanner. That's one option if you already have ID cards with an ID number on the back, student number or student ID. You could use your barcode scanner and scan that card so that the ID number will go in here. The fourth option is a finger scan option. I'm a favorite. I'm a fan, a big fan for all the reasons. Accuracy, efficiency, security, and reliability. Kids come to school with these every day. Okay, so again, 4 options, and any of them will work just fine. Bottom half of the page is going to display your attendance activity. So as your students are coming in through the front office and their attendance is being recorded, you will see the information display below. Okay, so that's this page. Let's run you through it. I am going to scan as a student today. I happen to be enrolled and I am a student in the school. For this demonstration, I'm going to use my finger scanner. This is the scan window that accompanies that process. So here I am, I'm going to scan my finger. I'm as a student, oh, I'm sorry, I have a little bit. And here we go. Attendance has been recorded and a timestamp has been already applied. That's what you didn't see. What you see right here is, and I'm going to minimize this. What you see right here is the hall pass that is generated in this print dialog. Let's talk a little bit about the hall pass. The hall pass is going to display a date and a time. It's going to display the student's name and the class on the bell schedule that that student has at the time that they're coming into the building. So Alyssa should be in 3rd block in English. It's going to display the attendance code. That's the attendance code that the scan page had displayed. That's the one that we chose for this entry for Alyssa. The status is going to pull from the way that you have that attendance code configured in your attendance bank in PowerSchool. We're going to count the tardies for you. This happens to be Alyssa's 22nd tardy to any of her meetings, not just to English, but across the board. This is tardy number 22. And down here is a message, a statement, anything that you want to say that aligns with tardy number 22. Mine just happens to say, education is the passport to the future. Okay, that was my inspirational message. You're going to create something that works for you. And I had paused that here. So then you would go ahead and print out that hall pass and you are ready for your next student. Notice Alyssa's name popped up here on the top with some important information and the ability to reprint that tardy slip if you need to for any reason. It's going to work the same if you decide to use another form of ID entry. I'm just going to manually, I'll use this number instead. I'm going to manually put an ID number in, and what you're going to see, the same process happens. The attendance got recorded, my hall pass came up, and we are ready for our next student. So it just flows like that. Let's pop over and take a look at what Alyssa's attendance record looks like so you can see what was happening behind the scenes when the ID was entered. We do have a link on that scan page that brings you right to Alyssa's record. And here we go. This is what was happening in the background after that ID number was entered and while we were, having that hall pass being printed so Alyssa could get off to class. This was all done for you. The attendance code was appended. The comment puts a timestamp in here. It's configurable. I always recommend that you use it. And for this particular code, I also wrote to the clock in field in the meeting time entry. So we will manually put a timestamp in that meeting time entry clock in field for your tardy students. PowerSchool collects that information and then adjusts your overall minutes for the meeting. So ta-da, that's all. So instead of you having to do all of that stuff manually, we are able to, with the scan of a finger or, an ID entry, take care of all of those processes for you in an automated fashion. Brian, you have something?
Yeah, we have a question that relates to where we're at in this demo, and it is, does the staff do the entry or the child? I'm assuming that's the ID number entry.
Yeah, so, okay, that's a great question. So people do it different ways, right? If you're using a finger scanner, it's the student, right? The student's going to place their finger and then the ID number gets put in. Pin pad, typically it's the student. Barcode scanner, if you have it set up, the student can just scan the barcode, right? So those would all be student-directed entry. If you are not using any of those three options and you need to manually type it in and the keyboard's facing your staff member, that might be a moment where the staff is taking care of that. But it's all about how you want to manage the ID piece of it, right? The ID entry piece of it. Good? Cool. Okay, so let's head back here. Hold on, let me get
there is a follow-up to that, and that is is the print automatic. So when the print slip comes up.
Yeah, the auto print is not a component of the plugin or configured in the plugin. It's about how you set your browser. So for example, Chrome has an auto print option. Firefox has a silent print. So you would just set your browser to auto print your passes. Good? Cool. All right, let's go back. I'm going to bring us back to the scan page for a minute here. Again, attendance, meeting attendance, because that's where I'm recording for this particular school. And then here's my link right over here. Look, I'm pointing with my finger, but I should be using the mouse. Sorry. I'm going to click on my link right here. And here we are back at the scan page that needs to be open to record attendance. This is a daily view. So this information down here, when you open this page or your staff opens the page in the morning, it's going to be empty. You're not going to see the attendance activity listed. As the day progresses and you have attendance activity happening, you're going to see that list build. This is configurable. You can determine how many or how few records that you want to see. But right over here is a link also provided by the plugin. It's called the printing page. The printing page is really an attendance activity page. And this is our cumulative view. This is an awesome way to refine your searches and get real granular with your attendance data that you've collected so that you can decide the best direction to take for your students. So the filter here comes with, that's part of PowerSchool. You would use that filter like you would use any other basic filter in PowerSchool. But over here, if I open up some options on the right-hand side, what you see is a whole bunch of other options, filter options, where you can go ahead and refine your searches to get the information that you're looking for. I could probably spend the next hour and a half on this page, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to show you a real popular way that folks are using this. A lot of times you have, you want to get ahead of, let's say a tardy number 5. Tardy number 5 in your school is a detention, for example, and you want to go ahead, and your tardy number 3, you want to send that off to somebody who can talk to these kids that have reached number 3 so that you can direct them in a better way so they don't reach that number 5. So I could align my filter with the data that I'm looking for. So I want all my tardy unexcused that have a total of 3. I'm going to apply that. What you can see is my list over here. My top number is 3, and my students on the side here that all have 3 tardy unexcused. Send that off to whoever needs to get in front of these students and help direct them in a different way. Okay, so just one of the ways that you can use this. But as you can see, you can get very granular with the information that you're looking to collect. We are writing directly to PowerSchool, so if you need to look at attendance codes or those things, of course you can and you could pull your regular reports from PowerSchool. But the printing page really gives you an easy way to grab some data so that you can turn it into an actionable moment. Okay.
Yep. While we're back at the scan page, there's a question regarding the finger scan. And the question is, would you have to collect fingerprints from all the students in order to have the fingerprint option?
Yeah, so you do. You need to create enrollment templates for each of your students in order to use that piece. If you want to talk about that in more detail, I would be happy to have a follow-up conversation, about that topic, and we can talk all about how finger scanning, works, and how useful it can be in your school. So just, if you want to put your information in the chat, I can reach out and we can schedule a time to get together to talk a little more about it.
Two things to point out on that. The plugin can be used without finger scanning.
Yep.
And that could be added at any point in time in the future.
Mm-hmm.
The other is that the finger scan can be used in other areas of the school. For example, in your cafeteria or library, in addition to using it in the attendance office.
Yeah, it's a great point. It becomes your ID management system. So create one biometric database or one finger scan database, and your students can identify in any area of your school to the applications that you're probably already using right now. On that real quick, I just want to say another thing. On rollout, even if you've chosen to use the finger scan option, you can still use the plugin with manual entry or barcode while you're collecting your scan templates for your students. So you don't have to just decide or choose a lane. You can use multiple ways with the plugin, and they won't be in conflict with each other.
This sort of goes along with it. Where is the finger scan information stored?
Yeah, it's stored. You hold it. The district holds it. We don't host any of your finger scan templates. You would put it on a server, a virtual or a physical server that you have within the district, behind all of the existing security, features that you already have for all of your other data. So you have it. We don't. Hey, Brad, maybe you want to just put in the link to the website with some of our cool pages that maybe if someone wants to read a little bit more about it, that would be a good starting point. Okay. All right, here we're gonna go behind the scenes. So we just went through a demonstration, showed you all the things that we're automating that probably you're managing manually right now. Let's go behind the scenes, and I'm just going to show you how we configure the plugin. It really is no joke when we say we can configure you and get you rolling in a couple of minutes. It's not. It's a pretty straightforward process. So on the left nav bar, I'm going to choose school management, attendance, and here's a nice link that's going to bring us to the page that we configure the plugin. We talked about this particular demonstration for Apple Grove High School. I was demonstrating the attendance being written to the meeting record. This is where that's decided, right? You're going to decide if you want to write to the student's meeting record or the daily record on this page. These options right here are all about how you want the plugin to behave. We set them according to the needs of your school. Print slip settings, this is all about how you want your hall pass to look. We set them according to the needs of your, of the information displayed on the hall pass. And then down here, these preset tardy comments, there's 50 of these. The left side displays a number, which is the tardy count. And the right side is a box waiting for your message for your students that aligns with the tardy count on the left-hand side. 400 characters to write your message. We're configured on this on the main settings. Only one more place to visit for our configuration, and it's the attendance codes. When the plugin is installed, each attendance code, and I'm going to open up the one that we used, each attendance code has an additional set of options, and they're right here. There's 6 of them. You decide what to enable, to select or deselect based on how you want that code to work with the plugin. So for my tardy code, I have a tardy count selected. I'm going to write to the meeting to the clock in time. I want a hall pass. I want to be able to search on this code on my attendance activity page. And on my hall pass, I want to see the tardy count and the comment as well. So this is where you make some decisions about how you want your attendance code to display when used with the plugin. Do we have another question, Brad? That would be relevant to this? Okay. So we're done. Plugin is configured. So it could take us, maybe 15 minutes maximum to get this configured. We're ready to go. So you install the plugin in the district, you configure one page, you configure your attendance codes, and you're ready to rock and roll. Okay, so I'm going to pop over to another school, and I just want to show you a little different. Washington Elementary, this particular school is an elementary. They want attendance recorded for their students on the daily side of things, okay? So the scan page is going to look exactly the same. The only thing that we don't see is the class on the bell schedule. So because it's a daily record that we're writing to. So I'm in Washington Elementary, same sequence to get to our scan page, but I'm choosing daily attendance instead of my meeting option. I have my link on the right-hand side, which is a link to the scan page. Same deal. You have to have this page open in order to record attendance. Also, same, so it looks identical, except that we don't see the class here because we're recording to the daily. I'm going to type a number in here for my student, and let's kind of take a look at how this gets displayed. Same idea, right? I have my student's name, I have the code, I have the count, I have my message, and it displays here. I'm ready for my next student. My printing page, again, will work exactly the same way as it did in Apple Grove High School, where I was configured for meeting. Same idea here. We get all kinds of filter options. I can reprint my tardy slip. The difference here is where we're writing on this particular. So, oh, where are we? What's today? Here we are, Thursday. Okay, so we talked about being able to write to the clock in and the clock out field. So on the meeting side, we're writing to the meeting time entry dialog. We're either going to insert a timestamp to the clock in or the clock out value, depending upon how you have your code configured. On the daily side of things, we have to insert some logic. And what we've done is recorded attendance, and then also recorded some to the clock in and clock out values. Let's talk about the logic behind this. The clock in value for your tardy code is the time the student came into the building. So Anthony came in at 1:23. That's when he entered the building. The bottom, 7 p.m., is the end of the day for my bell schedule. Okay, don't be alarmed. Nobody's bell schedule typically ends at 7 p.m., but I do demonstrations all over the world, so I have a very long, long day. So 7 p.m. is the end of the day for the bell schedule. We will auto-assign that. If you use this for an early dismissal, it would be the reverse behavior. We would display start of the day for the bell schedule as the clock in value, and the time the student exited the building for the clock out value. But we're automatically taking care of that for you. In terms of setup, for the daily side here in Washington Elementary, it's going to look exactly the same. Attendance, I have my settings here. You can see it looks the same. The only difference is on this side of things, I have my daily flag to yes, and then my meeting set to no. All the other items are the same. And again, with my attendance codes, those would be configured. They look identical. I will choose to set my attendance code based on the way that I want that to behave when used with a plugin. Okay, it's Michelle. Anxious to answer some questions for you.
One of them that came up is, can this run as a kiosk, say, for example, in the lobby or a hall?
Yeah, this is not designed to be in true kiosk mode. So it does, I'm going to call it semi-manned. If there's a validation, let's just say there's something that requires attention, you want to have your eyes on it. So it's not a true kiosk mode. And I say that semi-manned, in the sense that I know there's many schools where the attendance staff is sitting behind their counters and they're on their desks doing other things, and they're just kind of keeping an eye to make sure everything is going through properly. So you don't have to have someone on top of it, but keeping an eye on it.
Okay.
We do have that in the works, though. I will say we've gotten that request before, and it's something that we are aware of and are definitely, looking at the best way to structure that, for this particular plugin.
Yeah, I think part of that is also that you have access to the tardy codes, and in that structure, how do you allow a student to determine whether they're excused or unexcused, or
Yeah.
on a field trip?
Yeah.
They could enter any of those codes. So we'd want some entry, some oversight.
Yep.
The question is, does the tardy login convert the absence to a tardy? Say, for example, if they were marked absent for a
Oh,
class.
yeah, absolutely. We're writing as an administrator. So if there is something that is in there, just like any admin could modify, adjust, or update a code, we will do the same for the plugin, writing as an admin. So yes.
Can you edit the tardy code after the hall pass has been generated? An example would be to change an unexcused tardy to an excused tardy.
Absolutely. Absolutely. As long as your login to PowerSchool has the permissions to adjust attendance, absolutely.
Can you talk about some other ways that this solution can be used, for example, like field trips?
Sure. You can use it for field trips. I'm still sharing. Yeah. Let me go back. Let me get out. I'm just going to go back to Apple Grove so meeting attendance, my little link right here. So your default attendance code is the one that you're going to configure. Your default code is the one that you're using most of the time, right? It makes sense to have a default so that you don't have to manually use your drop down to set things. But you can use any code in your bank, your attendance bank. You can pull up any code. Let's just say you have a field trip that's going on and you're going to have 15, 20 kids coming through the door that need to have field trip updated into their attendance. You could change the default to field trip, have everybody come through and scan, and then change it back again. It's super easy to do that. School management, you go to the school management and then the settings and change that. So you could use it for a field trip. You could use it for early dismissal. You could use it for your tardies. So you decide. Any attendance code that is presenting in this field is going to be assigned to your student's attendance record. I'm going to say, yeah. Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. I was going to say, though, a lot of, this demonstration is kind of a broad, like an overview. Anybody that wants to have a conversation to do a deeper dive, please let us know. We can schedule something. You could go on our website and schedule it yourself. And I think Brian can put that in the chat there. But yeah, we can have a one-on-one so that we can do a deeper dive into your needs so that we can talk about how the solution might work for you specifically.
Yes, a one-on-one is super helpful. That goes with the other question. I'm ready to move forward, but I have to show it to some others in the group. What's the best way to go about that?
So
we do have a demo online.
Yeah. Two ways, the demo online, or reach out to us and get your group together at a time that we can just have the conversation and go over all of your specific needs. So either way.
The final question here is, can we test it?
Absolutely. Huge fan of that. I'm a huge fan of running a free trial. Use it for, a free trial looks like this. I'll send you a form. You're going to fill it out. It's going to give me, some parameters about your school and give you the, how the free trial works. I will configure it with you. We will install, we will configure, and be here to support, guide, and answer any questions that you have during that trial period. If it works for you, awesome. We get the paperwork in place, right? And you move down the lane of purchasing the plugin. If it doesn't, we uninstall it, and we've made some friends. So yeah, it's a great way to decide. You're adding a tool to your attendance process. It's really, I mean, it's huge, and you want to make sure that you're making the best decision. So a free trial, in my opinion, is a home run. So yeah, please take advantage of a free trial if you're interested in looking at this further.
And the one parameter that I would point out on that free trial is it is without biometrics. It will be
Yep.
without the finger scanner.
Yep.
It'll still work. The plugin will work just the same.
Yeah. Right. The trial is to evaluate the plugin component only, right? To see if that's going to suit your attendance needs. Using the finger scan piece is really just your input mechanism. So yeah, thank you, Brian, for being clear about that. No, we don't free trial the finger scan. Yeah, thanks everybody for your time today. I really appreciate it. Brian and I really appreciate it. And I hope, to hear from, all of you. Love to get together, talk a little bit further. And definitely if you're interested in a free trial, let's get this going. It's a great time of year to start doing this, right? Either just before or after your break, we could get you situated. So love to hear from you, and thanks again. Bye, everybody. Have a great day.